Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video I have some news for y'all. Cam basically teased all of the new spell, well, not all of them, but a good chunk of the new spell ramps and gambits and balance changes. So we will be reviewing this yet again. So I'm going to go through the things that I think are most relevant to the meta and like the best case scenario right away here. And then we'll get into everything, of course, throughout the video. I will have timestamps down there below for y'all if you are interested in skipping around and whatnot. But let's get into the first thing that I think is going to affect probably most of the game, right? So we have some new blade spells and whatnot. So basically, they took the old Pierce Blades, which were 20%, and buffed them to 30%. This was basically based off feedback because the community said they weren't good. And the reason these aren't good is because Pierce is universally so high, at least, I guess in general, that you don't really need to use this. You're just better off casting like a Myth Blade or a Fire Blade because you already pierce everything, or even a Death Blade, And then the schools that can benefit from it, like Storm, Ice and Death counter blades extremely easily, right? And those are the only times you'd want it against the two highest resist schools, right? So again, this kind of comes from them not really understanding the issue at the core, the heart of it, but is that it is what it is. And then we got a value buff to the balance spell and cosmic charge. Again, they just don't really understand the issue, right? The issue is stabilize is 0 pips, and now the same thing is cosmic charge. But cosmic charge is just the worst spell, and it costs a whole round of tempo, unlike stabilize, right? And brace resist has been a problem for years. So again, I would say this is mostly a nothing burger, this change for like the entire game, I would say. But that's okay, not all of them can be hits. A good change though is the traps are getting buffed, so they're going from 30% to 40% universally. And then fuel is also 40%, so fuel will be pretty scary again. I'm only a little concerned because I don't think fires are going to swap off a brain dead overtime spam right now. I just, why would you? Like, you win like 5 matchups like that, it's like, why would you? But I mean, most people don't pack traps in PvP, so I mean, you'll see maybe fire and myth trap, but nobody else. Good buffs for PvE players though. I mean, this is just a net buff for y'all. So I am happy for you. So good for the PvE players. Okay, so for these spell changes, I'm going to start off with the most relevant ones, I'm going to say. So starting off with Myth. Oh man, this was a long time coming. A long time overdue. But as you can see, Myth Jinn finally has got nerfed. I mean, I kind of feel bad for Myth Wizards, but at the same time, it was kind of an issue because it was 2 spells in one, right? It was like an extremely powerful hit base, and it had a gambit attached to it, right? So yeah, but 950, that's pretty low. Like, Calendar's better than that, I'm pretty sure. So that's interesting. But Myth Tree got a buff on the back end, and Delusion and Betrayal are actually a little bit better now. So at least for Myth, with Drop Bear being gone next update, you might want to Delusion Betrayal. Not a bad idea now. I would say this is probably like a net nerf for Myth. Like, I don't know what y'all are gonna do in PvP anymore. Like, base Jinn was like 1 of your 2 spells, 1 of your 3 spells, and that's gone. So I don't know what you're supposed to do as a Myth now, but good luck, I guess. Right now, my Myth is number 5 on the leaderboards, and I don't think you're going to be staying there that long with the base Jinn being gone. Okay, next up we have some Storm changes. Now, these are actually buffs, so obviously they nerfed the base damage on the spells, just like Myth Jinn, which is overall good for the game. in my opinion. And they buffed the damage on the back end. So I think they both got buffed by about 100 damage. I'm looking at it right now, and Storm only got 105 damage buff, which is good. Simply because, like, we were in a point where a Ghoul and a Poison was better than your open Storm Gambit in PvP. So seeing that Oni does, you know, a tad bit more now, maybe, you know, just a Ghoul into a Poison isn't better than a whole open Storm Gambit anymore. Maybe, I don't know. Definitely worth packing and giving it a shot though. And then Storm Tree, I mean, it's just terrible in PvP. It's terrible. I mean, probably a good change for people who raid, maybe, I guess. But the Oni buff is the one that matters here. Then obviously you can see the wrap changes at the bottom. Again, they're gonna all be 2 pips except for the hot and dot ones. I think those ones are staying around 3 pips of value. In general, I do want to say though, most of the ramp changes, I mean, they are neat. They're just not really that good. Aside from a couple, of course. Okay, next up we have Fire. So I think Caldera Jinn got a very minor buff, I think. Now, the issue is this card isn't going to be used until they properly nerf overtimes, because brain dead overtime spam works against majority of the game right now. So they can buff traps and buff Jinn all they want, but you're not going to get people away from something that's broken if it's going to remain broken, right? So, I mean, I guess it's good for people who raid. It's just a buff to y'all. But as for PvP, again, it's not going to change anything. Then yeah, so for the ramps here, you clear 2 shields for an effect, or 2 traps for an effect. I mean, I'll give them a shot. I don't think they're that good, but I mean, yeah, kind of mid changes for the Fire. Next up on the Ice, we have Ice Jinn and Oni getting a buff to their Gambit, and obviously a damage nerf on the base spell. And then I actually think Ice Scion is the most powerful Gambit in the game right now, oddly enough. It's not Death or Myth Jinn anymore, I don't think, which is kind of strange. I don't know how I feel about that, but that's interesting to point out. And then obviously, you know, the bottom here at the ramps, Fortress and Vex aren't going to clear 3 anymore. So they're not really going to be that good of weakness counters, but, you know, cool change there, I guess. Then we have the life spells. So Oni got a buff and a minor damage nerf, I believe. So again, it's kind of the same thing with Fire, right? It's like if you're going to Jade on a life to win, like, why would you ever go for this, right? Granted, a lot of regular life players or a lot of good life players pack like 1 or 2 of these. I guess it's an okay spell, and it's like maybe a little better now, I guess. But it's like you're not packing this like to win, really. It's just more of a situational spell, because you're just gonna Jade to win anyways, right? Especially with no heal cap coming in this update, which is stupid, by the way, because 90% of the community asked for the heal cap, and they're listening to the minority. So I don't know. I don't know, man. Life is still gonna Jade this next updates, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And then Death. So as you see, Doom Oni is getting nerfed by about, I think, 150 base damage. And then its Gambit is actually weaker than Ice, which is interesting, for sure. I don't know how I feel about that, but good nerf to Doom Oni. Death Jinn got a minor damage buff, I think about like 40 damage, maybe around there, so that's cool. The weakness Gambit also got buffed, so that's good for Death Tree. Haven't seen that in a long time. Hopefully some deaths start going for that. And then lastly, we have the balance spells. So you'll probably see balances kind of getting a whole new identity. They are doing that with Rochambeau now. So you can see that the Oni and the Jinn do different types of damage now. And they're gambiting like random effects, kind of similar to Balance Scion we saw in the last patch. So I think honestly it's a nerf to both of their gambits, I would say, in my opinion. And then the bottom spells, I think, are broken. So everyone in the community is upset about Oni's Shadow right now because we already have Perma Brace in the game. I think I talked about that earlier, but Perma Brace has been around for like at least 2 years. Every day, it's annoying. 100 resist unpenalized is annoying. Nobody likes it except the people who play those schools, obviously, because it's broken, right? But now, instead of having 8 copies or 10 with item cards, you'll have 14 with Oni Shadow. But now, you can also get Tempo and get 2 traps out of it, and any school can use it, because it's universal, and it's balance, and 100% accuracy. So, you're going to see Death, any resist schools, so Death, Myth, Ice, Balance, they're going to pack 4 Brace, 4 Stabilize, they're 2 item cards, and then a couple of these, probably, or 4. Because why not? It's just another Brace that gives you Tempo, and nice traps. Like, if they fix Perma Brace, I honestly think this is a well-designed card. I will say, like, if there's, like, any other aura, it's, like, even, like, a damage one or whatever, like, that's fine. Good design card, cool. Looking forward to using it. But the fact it's part of Perma Brace and incentivizing that for the 3rd time is a problem, okay? So, you know, I do want to give them their flowers there. Like, I think the spell is cool. Again, it's just Perma Brace is broken. If you change it to any kind of aura that's not Brace, good spell, cool. Looking forward to using it. But it's Perma Brace. No one wants that shit, man. And then Jinn's Fortune. This gives you a heal for 2 pips and a tower shield. So it's just another tool for a Jade to use. Like a life could just do this and then serve immediately. And then you can't protect yourself against the Seraph and get Tempo back from the tower shield they have. So just another buff to life, you know. It was already like the best or second best school going into this next update, but yeah, I mean, that's everything for these spells, y'all. What do you think about these in the comments below? I think overall, very minor nerf to Death. I think this is a buff to Storm. And I don't know what else. A Myth nerf. Myth is fucked, bro. Myth is fucked this update. No dropper. And Jinn is just like you're not gonna play for a Jinn anymore. Like, you may pack like 1 or 2 still, because like shield gambits are okay, but you can't just go for a win condition with a base Jinn. It's not possible. So yeah, I don't know. Myth is looking a little cooked, but looking forward to see your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a like and sub if you made it this far. Take care and goodbye.